Imagine looking out over the Manhattan skyline. It's a city built by the working class, but right now, those very people are being quietly pushed out. By the summer of 2026, the median asking rent in Manhattan hit a record-breaking $5,295 a month. Meanwhile, nearly 96,500 people, including 31,000 children, are sleeping in the city's shelter system every single night. This isn't just a sad accident of supply and demand, it is a man-made disaster. It is a story of greed, secret algorithms, and a massive political fight for the very soul of New York City. Our story begins with an invisible cartel. For generations, landlords in New York competed against each other. If a building had empty apartments, the landlord lowered the rent to win you over. But then, a Texas-based tech company called RealPage entered the picture with a pricing algorithm known as YieldStar. RealPage convinced some of the nation's largest corporate landlords, giants like Greystar and Equity Residential, to feed their private, sensitive rental data into this single algorithm. Suddenly, these massive competitors weren't competing anymore. The computer told them all exactly what to charge, creating a collusive price-over-volume strategy. The algorithm literally taught landlords that they could make more money by artificially jacking up rents and leaving some units totally empty. The U.S. Department of Justice eventually sued RealPage, calling it an illegal price-fixing scheme that cost renters billions of dollars. But the baseline damage to New York's market was already done. But the algorithm is only one villain in this story. The second is a deliberate hostage situation: apartment warehousing. In 2019, New York passed the Housing Stability and Tenant Protection Act. It was a massive victory for everyday people, permanently closing loopholes that landlords use to deregulate apartments and drastically raise rents. But the real estate industry decided to strike back. Instead of renting out their empty rent-stabilized units, landlords started padlocking the doors. State data revealed that over 57,000 rent-stabilized apartments were left sitting completely vacant. Landlord lobbying groups cried poverty, claiming the apartments were too damaged to fix under the new rent caps. But independent investigations exposed the truth. Nearly 89% of those empty units just needed minor cosmetic repairs, like a fresh coat of paint. Tenant advocates realized this was an organized capital strike. Landlords were deliberately starving the city of affordable housing to artificially engineer a shortage, hoping to force the government to roll back tenant protections. And who is coordinating this pushback? The men behind the curtain, the New York real estate lobby. For years, groups like the Real Estate Board of New York spent millions lobbying in Albany to kill tenant protections. Recently, major landlord groups merged into a massive new lobby called the New York Apartment Association. They love to claim they represent small, struggling mom-and-pop landlords. But look at their leadership. People like Douglas Durst sit at the top. His organization owns 13 million square feet of Manhattan real estate, and he has a personal net worth of over $4.4 billion. This multi-billion-dollar lobby works tirelessly to keep rents high and tenant protections weak. But every good story needs a turning point. For New York, that was January 1, 2026. On a freezing New Year's Day, in a decommissioned subway station below City Hall, Zohran Kwame Mamdani was sworn in as the 112th mayor of New York City. He promised an audacious, expansive government that would finally stand up to the real estate hegemony. Almost immediately, his administration pushed for a historic rent freeze on 1- and 2-year leases for the city's 1 million rent-stabilized apartments. It was an instant lifeline for 1 million working families. Then he released the block-by-block housing plan. Backed by a historic $22 billion investment, the city plans to build 200,000 new affordable homes and preserve 200,000 more over a decade. Instead of just begging private developers to build, the city is acting as a public developer, pouring $5.6 billion into repairing public housing and launching a new program to create permanently affordable, limited equity cooperatives. The mayor also took aim at the negligent landlords warehousing apartments, launching the Fix the City initiative. The goal isn't just to hand out fines. The goal is to aggressively pressure the absolute worst slumlords in the city until they are forced to sell their buildings to responsible, non-profit owners. The battle is far from over. The real estate lobby is infinitely funded, and political friction remains high, especially over how to fully fund housing vouchers to get those 31,000 children out of the shelter system. But for the first time in a generation, the script in New York City has flipped. The housing crisis is a manufactured disaster designed to extract wealth from the many to enrich the few. But the people are finally fighting back, proving that the city doesn't belong to the algorithms or the billionaires. It belongs to the New Yorkers who built it.